Let's talk about the famous Risa Tessa's story about her ex-husband who she referred to as Legion. And this story has been taking over the world, okay? This woman has literally broken the internet. Like, if you're looking for any example of someone breaking the internet, Risa Tessa's stories on TikTok literally broke the internet. And how you know you have broken the internet is when you have men talking about you, women talking about you, old people, young people, companies tweeting about you, or commenting about you. Then you will know that you have successfully broken the internet. All over the world, people from all over the world were actually following this story, and I followed it as well. Okay, so in today's video I'm going to be discussing the story and why I think that so many more women are in her shoes, but they don't know it yet. Okay, please, I need you all to be interactive in the comment section because this is a very interesting topic. Okay, granted, Risa Tessa's, I'll call her Tessa. Granted, Tessa's situation is a bit extreme, almost unbelievable, but there are so many more women who are in her situation in one form or the other, but they don't know about it, okay? And I'm sure many of them are commenting on her videos. Some might be castigating her, even though most people are actually on her side. But some might be like, oh my God, why was she so dumb? Why was she not smart enough? Some people might be like, thank God though. Thank God I did not marry such a man. Thank God I didn't go through what she went through. My sister, if only you know what is going on in your relationship, you will zip it, okay? You will zip it. You will just sit down, take your pen and paper, write down very important points, and go and do your own investigation in your own relationship, okay? You're going to jot things down to take things away.
Ladies and gentlemen, get a pen and a paper and jot things down so that you can take things out of this discussion.
Ben! Wake up.
Oh my God.
Wake up. I need social security numbers, offshore accounts. Do you have offshore accounts? What? High school records. All calls will be made on speakerphone. I want names of ex-girlfriends. Do they have children? Okay, you said you was homeschooled, but I need proof of schooling. I need proof of schooling. Anybody you have come in contact with. We're going to get a camera installed out back. Where is your grandma buried? Because the lies have to stop somewhere. Is this even your child?
Now, let me just give a summary of Tessa's story, but I highly suggest you go and watch it on TikTok. I'm going to leave the link down below. Go and watch it if you haven't already. I'm sure most people have watched it, but go and watch it because I watched from the beginning to the end. Like, I didn't really sit down. I played it in the background, but I listened from beginning to the end because I was really, really fascinated by this story. Okay, so basically this lady that we'll be calling Tessa, she met a man on Facebook dating site, okay, on March 4th 2020. Okay, that was shortly before COVID, like before COVID took over. There was already COVID at that point, but before COVID took over and there was lockdown almost everywhere, that was when she met this guy. And she met him on 2 dating sites, but he had 2 different but similar names on the 2 dating sites. Okay, the example she gave was, let's say his name was Matthew on this site, on the other side his name was Matt. Okay, so basically the short form of his name on the other site, right? So she met him on the 2 dating sites and they matched on the 2 dating sites, and she decided to just go on a date with him. She said that the first conversation she had with him, he was very forthcoming with so much information. He told her about what he does, how he just moved to her city, how he got a job there, told her he works at a condiment company as a regional manager, told her he played arena football, told her all kinds of stories, okay, and even told her at some point about his ex-wife that cheated on him, and she has, kids that are not his, okay. He has like step kids with the ex-wife, and he wants to be in the kids' life, but him and the ex-wife are divorced, and they divorced in California. They were living in California. He went to San Diego State or San Diego University or whatever, that he was a football player there, basically was just giving her a lot of information about himself, which to her was actually kind of a good thing because she's not used to men opening up that quickly. Okay, so she was like, okay, this one actually is interested in me. And she's not young. Okay, he wasn't young either, like he was 42, but she's not young, right? So she wanted love, she wanted relationship, she wanted to get married, and this guy was sounding very forthcoming, very open, very, interested in her, and she fell for it, right? So the first time they decided to meet up on a date, or like an official date, she said she wanted to go to Chuck E. Cheese, or is it Cheesecake Factory? One of those two, either Chuck E. Cheese or Cheesecake Factory. She said that was her favorite restaurant, so he was taking her there, or they were supposed to meet up there, right? On her way there, her tire burst, but thankfully she knew how to maneuver the car and it wasn't that bad, so she just drove to the side, and then she called him and told him, and then the guy asked her where she was. He came to meet her where she was, took her car to someone that will repair it, and also bought a new tire for her, like paid for a new tire for her, then took her on the dates. They were holding hands already. It was basically love at first meeting, and things moved even faster when lockdown was announced, and she was like, okay, where are we going to quarantine? At that point, he was living in a studio apartment, a dingy studio apartment, according to her, while she was staying in a 4-bedroom house. I think she said it's 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath house. So it was like, it's a no-brainer. You're going to quarantine with me. She didn't want to quarantine alone, even though she had told herself that she wasn't going to live with a man without being married to him, right? Like, cohabit with a man without being married to him. But, lockdown was coming up. She didn't want to quarantine alone. So she told him to move into her house. So basically 2 weeks after they met, he moved into her house, and things just progressively got worse from there, okay? Basically, this guy was a liar. Okay, let's just jump to the end of the whole story. This guy was one of the biggest pathological / compulsive liar you can ever think of, okay? But initially, she did not know this part about him, right? She just believed everything that he said, and at some point she got pregnant for him. She wasn't happy about it because, again, she didn't want to cohabit with a man that she wasn't married to, let alone even have a child for a man she wasn't married to, right? But she just had to face what was facing her. She wanted to keep the relationship. She wanted to make things work. And unfortunately, she lost that pregnancy. Even the time that she lost the pregnancy, someone else had to drive her to the hospital because he told her that he had just been promoted to VP and he had so many things doing in the office, so he couldn't drive her to the hospital to go and get a D&C. So her friend had to drive her to the hospital. Mind you, the day before, they celebrated his birthday and he was available for that. But to drive your girlfriend who just lost a pregnancy to the hospital, you are very busy for that. Anyway, she still tried to make things work. But before then, one of the biggest things that was a recurrence in their marriage or relationship, because their marriage and relationship was like over a year before everything was dissolved. Like, it was just over a year. But the events that this lady narrated, you would think she had been married for 20 years. Like, at some point, I was tired for her. I was exhausted for her. One of the major recurrences in their marriage is that he will promise and fail. He will promise and fail. He will promise and fail. And not just promise, okay? Because promising somebody that you buy them a car is a different ball game. But telling somebody that you have actually bought the car for them and they should stay at home, they are going to be delivering the car to them, and a BMW 5X or X5. I don't know anything about cars, okay? I don't really care about cars. So yeah, BMW X5 with a cognac interior. You took this person on test drives, okay? You went, she test drove cars up and down, then you acted like you were buying the car in her presence. You told her you had bought the car, and you also told her to basically get off work early so that she can be at home to receive the car, only for this whole thing to be a lie. Okay, now he had taken her to go and see houses, picture houses. In fact, not just see houses. That's why I said, I have so many points to bring up in this story, okay? Not only did this guy promise to buy a house for her, okay, like they'll buy a house together, basically, but he was supposed to be the one that would pay for the house, okay? Not only did he promise that, he went ahead and took her furniture shopping. Like, I was mind blown when I was hearing all of this. He took her furniture shopping. He showed her his account. He showed her a loan approval from Chase Bank for $700,000. Okay, basically a $700,000 mortgage. He showed her the paperwork, except for the offshore bank account and one other bank account that he said that he had, most of his money in, that all the money he got from playing football and, his job and all of that, he claimed that he had that money in those accounts, right? So those are the only paperwork that she did not see. But his checking account, his savings account, his company letter, his appointment letter, even letter showing that he's entitled to the company car, he's entitled to trip here, this one here, that one here, using the company helicopter and stuff like that. He showed her all this paperwork. Hey, God of mercy. I think the first time she really understood that this guy was lying to her, not that he was a pathological liar, when she understood that, okay, this guy just lied to me, was when the first house fell through. Okay, so basically he said he had put in an offer. Then, you know, the realtor called her and was like, what's happening with the house? And she was like, my husband said he put in an offer. Didn't he put in an offer? And the realtor was like, no, he did not. She called her husband and the husband said, oh, he put in the offer through his friend, who is also a realtor, only for them to keep progressing and keep waiting and waiting and waiting. Then she now went to check the site and found out that the house had already been taken, basically, right? And she told herself something, which is something I can do, but my own angle is different, right? She told herself that, oh, she's already pregnant for this guy, and you know, she's already basically kind of stuck with him, and this lie is, you know, like the first lie she's catching him in, that let her allow him get away with it. Okay, let her allow him get out of that lie. Okay, now why I said I understood that part is that it is something I actually do, right? But my own case is that I don't let you get out of the lie completely. Like, I'll know that you're lying, and I will not confront you about your lie. Like, I don't confront people about their lies. Like, you can be lying a bold-faced lie to my face like this, and I'll just be like, oh, wow, really? I might be quiet, though, especially if it's one that's shocking. I might be quiet, I might be thinking about it. But even if I know that you are lying, I will not call you out on it. I'm not even talking about my husband now, okay? I'm talking about even people in general. When I figure out that somebody is lying to me, I don't confront them, okay? I don't. I just keep it somewhere. I make a mental note about it. Now, why my own is different is that I make a mental note about it, but I will be waiting for the day that you will fall into my trap. Like, I will set a trap for you, and I'll be waiting for the day that you will fall into that trap. The day I will table your matter, you will be like, you will be shocked, okay? That's where my own is different. In her own case, she was trying to let it go just to move on and just have a happy life. I don't just confront people on their lies immediately, because it's easy to get away from a lie if you confront the person immediately, okay? But if you calm down, if you calm down and plot your graph very well, the day you will call out that person on their lies, it will be like, what? So you knew all this while. Yeah, so I don't mind someone taking me for a fool short term, but certainly not in her own case, because for me, in her own case, if you're going to be having a child with this person, if you're going to be married to this person, then you have to confront it, okay? But in general, I'm saying, I don't just, like, if I'm talking to a friend or something and the friend is lying to me, I'm not going to say, oh, you're lying, or didn't you say yesterday that? No, I won't say anything, no, but the day I will bring up that matter. But yeah, she allowed him get out of that lie, and things were getting worse. Now, two other things that she mentioned. One was that she compromised on her values, okay, because of situation. I'm going to talk about that more, okay, as video progresses, but because of her situation, because of desperation, because of, you know, for whatever case, she actually compromised on her values. And that is one way the devil actually gets us, okay? One way the devil gets us is that he tries to take you away from God. Sin stops you from seeing what is right in front of your face, okay? That is why a lot of women, a lot of people in general, end up with the wrong person, because their foundation, the foundation of their relationship was on sin, okay? Their relationship was founded on sin. So they end up with the wrong people and they're kind of stuck, okay? So that was one part that really struck me, because I've always known it, okay? But her saying it again was like, yeah, once you start compromising on your values, like once you meet somebody and the guy is trying to make you do things that you've told yourself you're never going to do, not in a good way, oh, better run, my sister, you better run. And another thing she mentioned about him is that this guy was always faking phone calls, okay? Like, she knew eventually, but initially she did not know. This guy was faking phone calls every single day. Every single day he was faking a phone call with his supposed brother, okay, his brother somewhere. He was faking a phone call every day by 6:15, and not just like 2 seconds phone call. Oh. I mean, it's not like a 2 seconds phone call will make things easier, but I'm just saying, like, he will fake phone call of 30 minutes, 35 minutes. You know, he will even bring her into the call by like saying things like, oh, my brother says hi, and she will now be like, oh, hi brother, and then he will not be like, did you hear her? Yeah, she's saying hi, you know, stuff like that. So this guy was faking phone calls. This guy was resurrecting and killing off family members left, right, and center. He was inventing family members. He was killing off the ones that were alive. He was resurrecting the ones that were dead. He was just making up all kinds of stories. And not only was he making up stories, he was involving her in the stories. He was involving other people. He was wasting realtors' time. He was taking her on different car rides, wasting the time of all the, car dealers. He was doing the most. Anyway, I don't want to go too much into her story, but I've already gone too much into it. So let me just point out some of the things that I feel like were in play that made the guy get away with it for as long as he did, okay? But before I even say that, I want to point out that even though this woman actually fell for a lot of nonsense, she came out of it quite quickly, okay? She came out of the nonsense quicker than most women have, or quicker than most women would have. She ended the marriage like 1 year after she got married. In fact, less than 1 year after she got married or so, but they had been together for over 1 year when she ended things with him, okay? Trust me, a lot of women are still married to pathological liars or compulsive liars. 20 years, 10 years, 15 years. In fact, even in the comment section, you'll see so many people saying things like, 14 years I was with a man like this. 20 years I was with a man like this. So yeah, I want to point that out. She actually came out quickly, all things considered. So yeah, why was he able to get away with some of these things for too long? Number one, like she mentioned earlier, she was kind of desperate. She wanted to get married. She was already asking God, God when, God when, God when. So it was like, okay, now that I've seen something that resembles what I want, I'm going to hold on to it, okay? I must stick beside him, okay? So that was one of the reasons why he was able to get away with a lot of nonsense, okay? Number two was, again, she had compromised on her values. She had compromised. She had, dug her own grave somehow, in quotes, by, harboring this guy in her house and also sleeping with him and then getting pregnant for him. So that actually further made it easier for him to get away with a lot of nonsense. That was number two. Number three, which happens to a lot of women, more than women would want to admit, okay? Number three is this ignorance. I would like call it ignorance or willful ignorance, not just ignorance, willful ignorance, okay? And I call it willful ignorance because there's no way my husband will tell me that he used to play arena football and I will not go and Google it. Like, it's not possible. I Google a lot. Like, I even Google words that I know. Like, like while filming, I might say a word, I know the meaning of the word, but I'm not sure. I will go and Google that word, okay? So there's no way you can lie to me about something like that, or I would have understood what it meant and understand that this thing you're saying you were playing cannot be giving you the money to use and buy this kind of house, okay? So I feel like that was part of the reason why he got away with a lot, because she was willfully ignorant about some things. Not really her fault again, because again, there are things you don't expect somebody to lie about, okay? That's another point I'll get to. There are things you don't expect somebody to lie about. So, she didn't really think too much about it. But personally, because I'm a very curious person, not even because I'm trying to catch you in a lie, I want to see if you're lying to me. No, it's because I'm a curious person. So if you tell me something I don't know, I don't know about, I'll go and Google it. In fact, in your presence, I'll be Googling it. Is that bad sometimes? Yeah, it's bad because I'll look rude, but if I'm not sure, I'll Google it. So for her not to know what arena football was, and she did not even like go and do her research at that time, then she was just being willfully ignorant, okay? And not only that, there were so many times that she said he would say things like, everybody knows that you have an offshore account for things like this, and she'd be like, oh, okay, basically like, oh, I did not know, okay, oh. No, it doesn't work like that, my sister. You cannot tell me everybody knows. I'll tell you, not everybody knows. Clearly, not everybody knows, because I don't know it. So don't tell me everybody knows. Like, I find that kind of statement quite insulting. Okay, I need to drink water. I'm actually getting heated. Yeah, I actually find statements like that quite insulting, because what do you mean everybody knows? Everybody knows. No, not everybody knows, okay? It's either you give me the point, you give me the information like a normal human being, or you shut your mouth up, okay? Don't come and tell me, but everybody knows. I hate when people get condescending when they're trying to pass an information across, okay? So I feel like she shouldn't have let that thing slide. If he has said, everybody knows you're supposed to have this, I'll be like, no. Not everybody knows, because I don't know it. And if I don't know it, being the intelligent, beautiful, smart woman that I am, if I don't know it, then not everybody knows it, okay? In fact, most people don't know it if I don't know it, okay? So I feel like her self-esteem was not high enough to actually make her question some things, okay? And again, yes, another point is that the guy was paying the bills in the house, including the house rent. So that's enough for so many women to actually just, turn a blind eye, because the guy is paying the bills. It's a different case if a man claims to be this and that, And then after he comes to live with you, he cannot pay basic bills. They're going to be like, hello, you said you have offshore accounts. You said you are this, you said you are that. How come you cannot pay your basic bills? Okay, so that would have set off red flags earlier, set off, alarms earlier, right, in her head. But because he was paying the bills and he had shown her his checking account and his savings account, she kind of believed that he had the money he said he had. And again, the next point is, one of the reasons why he was able to get away with it is because this guy was extreme, okay? This guy was extreme. So when people come and feel like they would have known, not really, okay? Not really. I don't think, I personally think that at least 98% of women would have fallen for him, okay? Would have fallen for his bullshit. Like 98% of women would have fallen for it. Like, let's not even deceive ourselves, okay? Because a regular human being does not expect a regular human being to be that much of a liar. Like it's actually shocking to think of, okay? A regular human being, like a regular woman, a regular man, will not expect a regular woman or a regular man to lie to that extent. So that is part of why he was able to get away with it for as long as he did. Again, like I said, she was actually smart enough to stop it when she stopped it, okay? Like to find out things when she found out things, because most people would have gone more than 1 year. Like 1 year is even too small. 5 years, 10 years before they'll find out all the things that she found out. Okay, so her mom's prayers were working. Another reason was she did not involve her family well. Okay, she didn't involve her family well. She tried to code some things. She tried not to tell her family some things. She just told them, bits and pieces here, but she didn't really like come out and say, this is how I'm feeling, this is how I feel. So that's another thing that, made him get away with it for as long as he did, because even her family, they all saw the signs as well. They all saw signs that this guy brags a lot. This guy says things that we can't really reconcile, because she said that her grandfather even said that he doesn't look like someone that played football, right? So I feel like even her family members had seen some signs here and there, but I think the best way to put it is that everybody had a little feeling here, a little feeling here, a little feeling there, right? If she had communicated her own feelings and everybody had brought all their suspicions together, it would have made like a big point, right? It would have drawn a bigger picture for them. But because everybody just had their little feelings here and there, he was able to, get away with it. Another reason was COVID, okay? Another reason was COVID, basically. That period of quarantine and, things shutting down and things not progressing as it was supposed to progress, things not happening as they used to happen, I think that made things worse for her, because she was basically locked up with this person in the house. She wasn't going anywhere. She was only interacting with him most of the time. So it was easier for her to just fall for his lies or just, accept his lies, because again, where do you go? Like, who else are you talking with? Who else are you spending your time with? She wasn't even, I think she was working from home at some point, but she said she was always sleeping off and stuff like that, so she had to return back to the office. But yeah, COVID actually contributed a lot to why she was stuck with him for as long as she was. But again, I have to keep adding that for somebody who was that pathological and that dangerous, it wasn't that long. Yeah, I'm still going to maintain that this Tessa lady was actually quite smart, okay? She shouldn't beat up herself too much for what happened to her, because she was actually quite smart, even though she had, compromised on her values. She had done this, so many things were against her at that point, okay? So many things were not working in her favor at that point. She still knew that something was off, so much so that she started an audio diary, okay? So she said she started an audio diary basically few months or even few weeks after she met him. When the lies started, piling up, she started an audio diary. And this woman is such a good storyteller. Like, she is such a good, when I say I was glued to my screen, I was glued to my screen. I was watching plays, I was listening to her. Sote, Love is Blind came out. I couldn't watch Love is Blind, okay? So I'm still going to film Love is Blind another day, maybe like tomorrow and stuff, okay? But Sote, Love is Blind was on. I couldn't watch Love is Blind because I was listening to this lady's incredible story. Okay, yeah, so anyway, long story short, eventually she filed for divorce. She kicked him out of her house. She said he was cheating on her, so that was part of what even gave her the morale to be like, come on, get out. Like, on top of everything, you're even cheating. Come on, get your ass out of my house, okay? And it also turned out that this man did not even have any friends. He didn't even have any relatives. Everybody was cutting him off because he was such a liar. Even the person he said was his auntie wasn't really his auntie. The person he said was his brother wasn't really his brother. His actual brothers and actual, cousins and stuff like that were actually against him. So much so that even when he came to their house and gave them lies, they quickly looked for the wife and called the wife and said, see what this guy is saying here. Oh, this guy is trying to even put somebody else in trouble. They kicked him out. He had to start looking for where to stay. He was living out of his car. You know, he lost so much weight. He was sick. So many things went wrong with him as well. So it's not like, oh, things were only going wrong with her. So many things went wrong with him as well. Basically, almost like he met his karma somehow. Then he eventually, you know, was arrested. He was put in jail. Then he was released. That reminds me, there was something about her story that bothers me a lot, okay? And that is about how domestic situations are handled by the police, both abroad and in Nigeria, okay? Because sometimes we make it look as if, oh, Nigeria is the worst country in the world, and Nigeria, we don't know how to do things. Yeah, it's kind of everywhere. Granted, Americans and, you know, the Western world, they handle things a little bit better. But when it comes to domestic situations, there are some limitations on domestic situations that I don't even know what the solution is going to be, okay? I don't even know what the solution is going to be, because now, she kicked him out of her house and she changed all the locks and stuff, okay? And then the guy left, okay? Because she was ready to beat the hell out of him. She was ready to even kill himself. So he left her house, right? And then he got information that he was not supposed to leave. Like, he could have stayed back in the house because the house was a marital home, okay? Even though the house was the house she rented with her money, well, she rented that house, but he was the one paying, you know, the rent, okay? So, but because it's a marital home, she didn't have a right to kick him out of the house, okay? So this guy was trying to come back, knowing everything they knew about him at that point, knowing that he was a pathological liar, he was a fraud, he was a scam artist, he was a everything bad, basically, okay? Everything bad, he was it, right? Knowing what they knew about him, they still could not physically restrain him from going to that house. They still told her that if the guy came to the house, if the guy wanted to come back to the house, there is really nothing they can do about it. The only thing they can do is a police officer will wear his body cam and walk through the house to make sure that, you know, they capture how the house was before he came in, so that if anything happens afterwards, they can say, oh, this guy was the one that vandalized it. This house was not this way before he came in. That's the most they could do, okay? The other option was for her to stay in the house with him and live happily ever after, or what? I don't even understand. What was she supposed to do in that house with him, okay? That was the second option. The third option was for her to leave, okay? So, me, I was even like, and I've heard this thing about even stalkers, right? The highest thing you can do to a stalker is put a restraining order on the stalker, okay? But they cannot arrest a stalker because he's a stalker. Like, that thing keeps blowing my mind. Like, they'll tell you it's a domestic situation, even in cases of, you know, spouses that stalk, or ex-spouses that stalk their ex-wives and ex-husbands and stuff like that. They'll tell you it's a domestic situation. They can't really do much about it. The highest thing that they can do is put a restraining order on the person, okay? But a restraining order on a psycho does nothing. Like, the person is a psycho. Do you think it's a paper that says don't go within 50 feet of that person? You think that's what will stop them? Okay, so that's why I don't understand the situation. So the only way they could arrest this guy was when they found out that he actually had a warrant for his arrest, okay, already. They couldn't arrest him for trying to come back to a house where, you know, he was kicked out of, and it was proven that he had told so many lies. Okay, so those are the limitations on the law or on the police force that I don't get, and it bothers me a lot. And there have been stories of people that were killed after they had repeatedly reported a particular person or a particular, you know, group of people or a stalker and stuff like that. These victims had actually been killed after they had reported it, and the police has it on record, and, you know, so many things. Okay, so is one thing that keeps bothering me, and, you know, you all stay safe out there, because it's not easy. Now God they protect person. Because trust me, if bad thing wants to happen to you, no police on earth can stop it. Okay. Anyway, it turns out that this guy actually had a twin brother who was actually most of the things he claimed that he was. So he had a twin brother who was a VP. The guy was married. He had kids. He was driving a luxury car. So basically everything that this guy claimed that he had, he was actually just appropriating his brother's life. Okay, he was a trans he was a trans VP executive. He was a trans what they call it, luxury car owner. Okay, so basically they found out that this guy was a liar, and his family members said something, right? They said that he had been a liar from birth. And that is why I just feel like this guy, his own issue is more than just normal what meets the eye. This guy has a psychological mental issue that needed to be addressed when he was a child, okay? Because I can't imagine my child now being a chronic liar and I'll just be like, okay, this child is just a chronic liar. No, you are supposed to actually look into it and look for help for your child. If he actually showed these signs from when he was a child, I feel like it could have been helped if they had looked for help for him, okay? And I also feel that there's something in his life that caused him to be that way. That's if it's not a biological mental issue, right? If it's not something that he was born with, I feel like something went wrong along the line that if you dig deeper, you'll find out why he became a liar. So it's either he has this Machiavellian psychopathy and what's the other word? Narcissistic traits. It's either he has those things, or I think they call it the dark triad. Yeah, it's either he has those things or he cannot help himself. Like he's just a compulsive liar that has a mental issue that just he can't help himself and he's just lying for no reason. But if you really look into it, I don't think he's a compulsive liar because his lies were well orchestrated. Like he used to orchestrate his lies very well. And another thing she said was that it seems like he got off on her being happy and expecting something and then yanking it away from her, basically by not providing it for her, because from the get-go he couldn't even provide it, okay? So it seems like he was getting some kind of excitement from promising her stuff, seeing her get wide-eyed and excited, only for it to turn out not to be true. Another thing is that even when this guy was getting released from prison, nobody thought to call her and tell her that, oh, heads up, oh, this your stalker, this guy that was, not stalker basically, but this guy that was put in jail that, you didn't want in your life, he's actually going to be released or is about to be released. Though nobody thought to tell her, if not that her mom was watching the something, I think it was on Zoom or whatever, her mom was watching it. That was how she knew that, oh, they took the guy to the back room or something. So she now called the lawyer, and she said when she even called the lawyer had an attitude, but basically she now found out that, oh, they were about to release this guy, and she had to really quickly, leave the house, okay? Because her lease was already up. So she quickly had to leave the house so that the guy will not, come there and do anything to her, right? So I was just like, so even the police officer could not even call her and say, oh, heads up. Anyway, I guess they have so many cases to cover and, maybe they're not really thinking about those details. But for me, I feel like if you sense that somebody called you out of fear of a particular person and that person is about to be released into the public, then you should actually tell the person that called you initially and say, hey, I beg you, they're about to release the person that you called us for, okay? But anyway, all in all, she got her freedom, and she got her freedom by, being smart, because she actually went and did some digging on herself. She found out he had different ex-wives everywhere, okay? Not only did he have ex-wives, he had family members that he was not claiming, and then he was claiming family members that did not exist. That's so weird, because he never even mentioned that he had a twin brother, which is the brother that he was trying to appropriate his life. So basically, he killed off his twin brother in his head just so that he can assume his twin brother's life in his head, not even in reality, in his head. Okay, but yeah, she got her freedom. In one of her stories, she said that he actually lied to her about taking her to London. She has always wanted to come to London. It was one of those things he lied about. She didn't even know that he couldn't even fly out of the country because he was an ex-convict. Okay, and yes, he was an ex-convict because he impersonated a police officer and he was trying to execute a search warrant on a woman's house. He was basically trying to force himself into a woman's house, basically. I was like, what's going on? This is more than this is not normal, okay? So the London thing was a fail, but yeah, now she is going to London. Different companies are sponsoring her. I know that Delta is sponsoring her flight. I know that Hilton is sponsoring her stay, like they're accommodating her. She has gotten offers here and there from different companies. People are saying she needs to get a Lifetime movie, she needs to get a Netflix series, she needs to get a book contract, she needs to get a this and that, because trust me, this lady, her storytelling skills are top notch. But aside that, you can tell that she's a genuinely good person, okay? I mean, I don't know her personally, okay? She can be lying for all I know. She might actually be making this whole thing up. She might actually be the real villain. So I'm not saying I'm vouching for her 100%, but from what I can see with my eye and what I can hear with my ears, she actually seems like a genuine soul. So when she's talking, you can actually feel her pain. There was one part that she said, "Who the fuck did I marry?" I could feel that. I don't know how to explain it. I could feel the anger, right? And even the way she released the story in chronological order and made everything easy for people, because at the beginning of each story, she would say, part 26, who the fuck did I marry? Okay, part 20, who did, so everything was just really nice, but people are already catching up with it on YouTube. People are already reposting the videos, or not even like giving their own opinions like me. Just taking all her videos, putting them together and putting them on YouTube. People are getting millions of views from it. And I kind of feel bad for her. I wish that she had, put it on YouTube immediately so that she can just copyright it and nobody else can get, use those videos. But yeah, I guess she's actually making money from it on TikTok, and hopefully the sponsorships and stuff like that, and more good things will come out of the story in general. Okay, now why did I say that so many women are in the same situation but they don't know? I hate to be the bearer of bad news, okay? I hate to be the bad guy. I hate to be the one to come and tell you, that the sky is blue, but yes, the sky is blue. A lot of men are actually liars to a certain degree, okay? Now, I'm not saying all men are liars, though. I am not saying all men are liars. I don't believe my husband is a liar, okay? I don't believe so. I don't believe my husband is a liar, okay? If you admit or if you agree that your own husband is a liar, now you sabi. But for me, my husband is not a liar, okay? However, so many men are liars. So many women are being lied to their faces on a daily basis. So many women are being lied to their faces on a regular. So many men have double lives. So many men have a whole family somewhere else, and the wives are just living in their la la land, okay? La di da di da. They're just skipping like Little Red Riding Hood along the forest, not knowing that the fox is lurking in the background, okay? So many women are being lied to their faces, bold-faced lies every single day. And so many of them are watching this video, and so many of them are watching her video, and so many of them are saying, it's you that your husband is a liar. It's not me. All right, sis. Okay, whatever rocks your boat, whatever floats your kite. All right, sis. Okay, but yeah, so many women are being lied to daily. You need the Holy Spirit to tell you the truth, okay? Depending on the level, it is not something that you can just find out, with your human intelligence. It's not, okay? Like I said, this Tessa story, a lot of women would have fallen for it. Even the ones saying, it can never be me. It's a lie, my sister. It's a lie. You go even fall past self. In fact, you would have still be stuck with him till now. In fact, the man will leave you and go and marry someone else, and you will still be there, okay? Let's not even deceive ourselves. In this cold, rainy UK weather, let's not even lie to ourselves, okay? A lot of women, a lot of you watching me would have fallen for his stories, because, again, you don't expect a normal human being to lie about certain things, okay? There are some things that are so verifiable that you're like, why would the person lie? But why would he lie though? Like you will fight yourself. You'll be like, but why would he lie though? Okay, it turns out that many of the things he showed her were actually screenshots. She didn't think to, reverse image some of those things on Google Lens. She didn't think to reverse image search some of those things, right? But again, I can imagine my husband coming now and telling me, like, when he got the job that brought us to the UK, right? I can imagine my husband coming to tell me that, oh, I got a job in the UK, we're going to be moving to the UK, and I'm like, show me the paper. And I'll call his HR and say, is it true that, make it make sense? It's not something that anybody thinks a normal human being will lie about, right? So I understand that it was not easy for her to actually find out the truth. I understand why. Coupled with the other things that I have already mentioned that were at play, it would have been very difficult for her to figure out some of his lies, okay? But yeah, do not ignore that voice that is telling you that something is wrong, okay? A lot of women have ignored that voice and they have ended up in their graves, okay? A lot of women have ignored that voice that is telling them that something is off, something is not okay, something is off, okay? They ignored that voice, they suppressed that voice, they allowed external noise to suppress that voice, and they ended up paying for it even with their lives, okay? So do not ignore that voice. A lot of women are being lied to daily. I've had friends tell me things that I know that is a lie. Like, I know the background story, I know that it's a lie, but when they're telling me those things, I'm just like, okay, sis. Don't be me go spoil your marriage. Okay, sis. There's even a particular incident that happened with a friend. We're not that close anyway, so I can't really start choking my mouth in it because we're not that close, right? But I saw her husband doing something, okay? I don't want to go into details, and I just couldn't tell her because I know for a fact that even if I had told her, she's not gonna go anywhere, okay? She's not going anywhere. She's not leaving the man. She's still going to be with him. You know, it's not even about the fear of them using me to settle, because again, like I said, I'm not even that close to her. So if you like use me and settle, that one no concern me. Like I don't really care. Okay, not like I don't like the friendship, but the friendship does not really add much to my life on a normal day. So I could have told her, right? But I know her well enough to know that even if I had told her, she's not going anywhere. She might confront the man, he might give her one lie, she will accept his lie, and they'll move on. She's not going anywhere, okay? A lot of you women are saying, if it was me, my sister, you're not going anywhere. You wouldn't have gone anywhere, sir. In fact, even if you were in Tessa's shoes and you had found out everything that she found out, some of you will still stay. Yes, I said it. Especially most of you that are Nigerians. You people know yourselves, okay? You people, not me. I'm not a Nigerian. But we all know ourselves. Let's stop even lying. Let's stop even playing those games, okay? You people, if you were in Tessa's shoes, you found out all these things, the fact that you're already married to that guy, you would have stayed and tried to make it work. You would have stayed and even tried to get pregnant on top of it. In fact, that's when you not start trying to get pregnant. So at least let you collect pregnancy from the situation, okay? So let's not even play those games this afternoon, okay? I don't even know why I'm pressing P like this, but that's just the fact, okay? I have studied women, not just even Nigerian women. I have studied women very well. I think I even need to open like an agency or a master class for women. I have studied women very well, and I have seen that you see this thing about man and woman relationship. You see this thing about relationship, about husband, about marriage, about companionship, about man and woman relationship. It is very deep, especially for women. It is very deep, okay? It's mostly man and woman issues that women are facing, okay? So at the end of the day, try and liberate yourself. But yeah, I'm not holding my breath for most women. We're still going to hear stories like this. We're going to hear even worse stories. Okay, some people will die before they leave that situation. They will rather die before they will leave their husbands, or before they will send their husbands out. Like, they will rather like literally lose their breath. I don't know why I'm laughing. It's not funny, but yeah, they will literally surrender their souls instead of them to leave the relationship. So let's not deceive ourselves, okay? If you want to leave, leave. If you don't want to leave, stay there and own it with your full chest. Okay, own it with your full chest. Don't be deceiving yourself and trying to deceive others. And again, like I always say, many women are going through things that they feel nobody knows. My dear sister, everybody knows, okay? Everybody knows. It's when you come out and talk that it will now give them the audacity to actually say their own too. Or they will now be like, my sister, I know, we all knew that you were going through this in your marriage, okay? Everybody knows. They're just waiting for you to come out and open your mouth and say it so they can now fill in the gap space for you. Fill in the gap or fill in the space. They're waiting for you to just, drop the hints first, and then you will find out that that thing you think is a secret is not a secret. But anyway, that's it for today's video. I've actually talked longer than I wanted to talk. But yeah, that's it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know, how you guys feel about this situation. Do you still believe that, oh, she was incredibly stupid? If it was you, it never happened to you. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And what do you think is actually going on with the guy? Because as much as I want to think that he's just an evil person, there's something off, okay? It's almost like senseless evil. Let me put it that way. It's almost like senseless evil, because what you gain last he didn't really gain much. So it's almost like senseless evil. That's why it's pushing me to really, question what exactly happened to him in his childhood that is making him the way he is, okay? Anyway, guys, that's it for today's video, and I'll see you all in my next one. Bye, guys.